I'm going to walk you through a lesson. This will be a glimpse into how I like to use the lessons, and ideally this will give you the tools you need to use all the lessons on the site. But my focus here is going to be on isolating the fill itself and all the different ways you can use it. So first I'm going to play it for you, and I'll let it play all the way through at the regular speed, at full speed. Okay, let me just stop it right there. I think what I notice here with this fill, and I remember the first time I heard it, I think I heard Vinny call you to do it first, is that I was stumped. I was wondering, how do you do that? What is it exactly? So the idea with the site is to play it slow, play it in slow motion to try to demystify it. And I will play that for you. And we'll go from there, and then we'll see if that doesn't demystify it somewhat. Okay, so perhaps at first glance it still seems somewhat confusing or not super clear, but I'm going to zoom in on the transcription here to try to give you a sense of what the fill is and how I like to look at it here. So as I zoom into it, whether you can read music or not, what you'll notice here is stickings for the fill. An R for the right hand, L for the left. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then in particular, what I want to focus on is this first grouping of 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what you'll notice in this fill is that it's a recurring pattern. Right, left, right, right, left. 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 Right, right, left, and then it ends. So for those of you who know your rudiments, you might notice that this is a paradiddle, a right-handed paradiddle. Hence the name of the chop itself is the right-handed paradiddle. But the difference here is it's only right-handed paradiddles. It's a right, left, right, right, paradiddle, and then a tap just with your left. And then it repeats. And at its slowest, it's actually pretty easy to play because you're just playing 5 notes. I'll show you some examples of it that I did on the snare drum to further illustrate this. But I feel like you should be able to take a look at this and notice the stickings. That's the first part. The next thing I want to focus on are accents. I have said before that accents are one of the 6 things you need to know to do any fill ever, but let's apply it here. You'll see these accent marks or carets over the left-handed notes. If you notice, they line up with the left-handed note. What's tricky about this fill is typically a paradiddle. If it has an accented note or a loud note, it's the first note. But in this case, it's the second note, and that's what gives it its coolness. It's kind of crazy to think to put the accent on the second note. But what you want to do when you're playing it is still play the right on the beat. But it's that second note and then the 5th note that get the accents or the loudness. And in this case, I noticed that pretty much all the left hands are loud, if that helps you. But if you just focus on this first group of 5 and work this up on a snare drum or a practice pad or just on your lap with your hands, you'll notice this is pretty simple. And in the context of the chop, and this is actually me playing it, but there's a bunch of other drummers that do this. What you would notice is you could take this another step and perhaps not just play it all on the snare drum. I believe in this chop, I played the right hand on the ride cymbal, and I reinforced it with a bass drum. So you kind of add a bass drum to the first note, but still the chop remains. It's a right-handed paradiddle with a single left-handed hit at the end. Right, left, right, right, left. So I'm hoping this will give you a clue as to how you could use this. And what's fun about it is you can take the basics of this and move it around the drums, change which drums you hit where, that kind of thing, and make it your own. I think it's important to learn it how the original guy did it, but ultimately you don't want to just be a copycat of other drummers. You want to do it your own way. So I hope this gives you a clue as to how you might use PossibleChops. And I will give you a link to this actual chop below so you can look at it as many times as you like.